All right, it is day 4, which means we are beginning our fast today. So, know that the next 10 to 14 days are going to be tough, to say the least. That's when your symptoms of withdrawal, your struggles essentially, are going to be most intense. So, as you move through today, notice what comes up. Notice what sort of environments or people or circumstances trigger you and give you that urge to reach for whatever it is that you're giving up. Sometimes a dopamine fast can reveal to us things that we didn't really notice about ourselves, and you might be even more aware of your patterns now that you're giving them up. So take note of that today. And even though, yes, the last few days have been prep work, the prep work continues. So today, as you step away from these problematic behaviors and substances, also take some time to decide what you're going to do instead. Odds are for most of us, we're going to have some free time on our hands or some moments of not knowing what to do when we would typically be doing you know what. So take this time to really think about the kind of person you want to be once these addictions are a thing of the past. What do you want to be spending that time doing instead, and start doing it in these 4 weeks? So those creative projects that you've been thinking of, or those at-home projects or organization projects that you've been putting off, hobbies that you've been thinking about picking up, the things that you don't normally give yourself time for, the books that you don't normally give yourself time to read, whatever it is that you want to fill this time with that is positive and healthy, take some time today to write those things down. Don't limit yourself. Just sort of brain dump onto paper anything that you would like to incorporate into your life instead of or in place of the things that you are removing from your life. So these things will be very helpful for you. This is not just a period of giving up. This is a period of reinventing, of learning who you can be and starting to formulate this new version of yourself that hopefully will be here when this fast is done. Because, the goal is not to just give this stuff up for 4 weeks and then go right back to using it to the unhealthy levels that we were. The goal is to actually completely revamp our relationship with these things and not go back to these overconsumptive habits. So, plan what you want to do with your life instead. In addition to that, take note of the people and places that you think are going to be challenging for you in the coming weeks. I mentioned this in my email, but it might be worth noting that there are some people you may need to steer clear from or spend a little bit less time with, or at least there are some people that you need to inform of what you're doing. If there's a drinking buddy that you always hang out with, someone you like to take your smoke break with, just let them know not to ask you, not to invite you. Not that we can't control what other people do. We need to absolutely have our own sort of plan in place to turn down those invitations. But for the people that know and love you that you think would adhere to this, it might be worth asking them to support you in this endeavor that you're taking on. Last but not least, over the next 10 to 14 days, as your brain pathways reset and crave these dopamine stimulating activities, there are going to be symptoms that come up consistently. Don't forget that these are withdrawal symptoms. You're going to be anxious or depressed or restless or agitated or irritable or angry or short-tempered. It's going to be a struggle. Just remind yourself that that's to be expected and it's not going to feel like this forever. Remind yourself every day, if you have to, that 4 weeks is the amount of time, and specifically 2 weeks is the amount of time that we can expect these symptoms to be their most intense. Remind yourself that your feelings can't necessarily be trusted. Those intrusive thoughts or those irritable, angry, bitter thoughts that are coming up, they're not necessarily true. I'm not usually one to tell people not to trust themselves, but when you're going through a withdrawal like this, you kind of need to hesitate on trusting every emotion that you feel and trusting every thought that you think. Definitely don't say out loud everything that you're thinking. Have a little bit of restraint in that regard over the next couple of weeks. If I can give you just one little tip, it's that your nervous system is going to be going through it. And one really simple thing you can do to tend to your nervous system in real time, at any time, no matter what you're doing, is breathe down into your lower lungs. So when we typically breathe through our day-to-day life without paying attention to how we're breathing, our breath is up pretty high in the chest. So anytime you notice yourself feeling any type of way that you don't want to be feeling, sometimes we can't just make feelings go away, but if we have any chance of soothing ourselves, it can be done with the breath. So even right now, I'll invite you to join me in bringing your awareness back into your rib cage, your back rib cage, down low. So almost all the way down to your low back. And see if you can send your next inhale back and down into that space. So breathing into the lower back lungs. Know that that is something you can do and ought to do many times through these next, especially 2 weeks, but hopefully rest of your life. Your nervous system needs you. Don't you worry though. I am going to be providing plenty of nervous system practices and education throughout the coming videos. And tomorrow I've got a practice that's really going to help you in those moments of discomfort, to say the least. The moments where thoughts are uncomfortable, emotions are intense, physical sensations are overwhelming. Tomorrow I'm providing just a short but very accessible guided meditation that I hope you'll return to many times throughout your dopamine fast, because it will really support you in learning to tolerate the discomfort of your withdrawal symptoms without the knee-jerk reaction of reaching for something to self-soothe. So, best of luck, although it's not about luck. I am wishing you strength and commitment, and I'm hoping that you remember exactly why it is that you are embarking on this journey. I'll see you tomorrow.